She was attacked and beaten to death inside of her own home. It was an early afternoon when the crime occurred, taking the life of a 76-year-old Toledo woman.
And more than 20 years after the murder, the case is still unsolved, and her family members want answers. Here's this week's Case Files. It was the crime that left people in Toledo's LaGrange Street Village community shocked.
It's really a disgrace that somebody would stoop so low as to do something like this.
March 6, 2001, the woman known as Grandma Betty was assaulted in her home on Bronson Avenue. That morning, police say Betty Jagodzinki finished her shift at McDonald's, then went home. That's when a friend called.
They had called her about 1:15 to see if she was home and would like to have a visitor, and she said sure. Got to the house about 20 to 30 minutes later, knocked on the door, and they weren't getting any response. They opened the front door. It was shut but unlocked. They entered the front room and saw some of Miss Jagodzinski's items on the floor. Were calling for her, couldn't find her. Saw some evidence of blood in the room. Went to the basement steps and saw her at the bottom of the basement steps.
Betty was rushed to the hospital, where she died. Dozens of tips came in, but nothing led to a suspect. Detectives say the elderly woman's purse and wallet were both missing, but whoever committed the attack did so in a very small time frame.
The rear door was open, suggesting maybe the person left through the rear.
Renee Jagodzinki is Betty's daughter. She describes her mother as a caring woman who was always willing to help those in need.
She was a really giving person in the neighborhood. Everybody loved her.
Renee says her mom was strong. She lived alone and had recently beat cancer. Police say Betty put up a fight against whoever came inside that afternoon. As for a suspect, police sent DNA to the crime lab 3 times from 2007 through 2016, with the hopes that new technology would lead to a break. Family is convinced one of Betty's grandchildren's former spouses is responsible. Police looked at multiple family members as potential suspects, but no one was ever charged.
They focused on my brother, Danny, for 6 months and wasted all that time when they could have been looking at other people.
Today, the case of Grandma Betty is at a standstill, and her family is making another plea for anyone out there with information to come forward.
We just like to know who and why. We just really want it solved.
For this week's Case Files, Christina Williams, 13 Action News. And if you have any information about the homicide of Betty Jagodzinki, you can call or text Crime Stopper. That number is 419-255-1111. You could be eligible for a cash reward. And if you have an unsolved case that needs attention, email me, casefiles@13abc.com.